the question about the debt exclusion, right? When we go to the ballot vote in June, will the debt exclusion question be for the entire project cost? I just want to be clear when I answer this question. There's the total project cost, which is roughly $290 million. But then we're also going to get a reimbursement from the MSBA to the tune of about $100 million. Okay? So there'll be a net cost to the town of North Attleboro. So let's use a simple math, 290 million minus, let's say, 100 million for the sake of this exercise. That net cost of 190 million, that would be the cost of the debt exclusion. That would be the cost that we're asking the voters to vote on. So it's not the total project cost, it's the net cost to the town of North Attleboro. I hope that's clear enough. What's included in the total cost? So the total project cost is like total cost of construction, the total cost of design services, total cost of owner's project manager. So Tim's saying, like, anything that we do on the site, whether it's site work or building, that, including furniture, fixtures, equipment, technology, all that stuff, it's an all-in cost. And that's what you're going to be asked to vote on in June.
There had to be bond authorization for the total amount of the project. It was a requirement of MSBA. So we had to get bond authorization for $6 million on the lab, even though we were going to only spend $3 million. And I'm just wondering, and that, by the way, my understanding is town council can give bond authorization. That
is still the practice.
Okay, so you're going to have to get bond authorization for $299, whatever the total price is.
So there's two things. There's the bond authorization, and then there's the appropriation for the school.
That's correct. Yep.
So the school has to be appropriated in its full amount because the grant is a maximum grant program, and it may go up or it won't go up once they give us the maximum grant, but it could go down if we don't spend. And typically, these projects come in under budget at the end of after they're built 5 years from now, and we don't spend the same amount. We don't spend as much of the town share, and we don't spend as much as the MSBA grant would have authorized. So the appropriation has to be in the full amount because of that dynamic. The bond authorization, you would only want they really want the bond. They don't want to pay for a town to interest costs for their reimbursement. So they reimburse every month. So you really only authorize bonding up to what the town share is, not the full amount.
So it's different than what it was for the...
Yes, it is different than the old school building authority.
If the citizens vote for the debt exclusion, does that put a cap basically on the project? So then all design work and everything else that you're going to be doing after June 3rd has to live within that cap. Is that a proper statement?
That's accurate.
Thank you.
And the question was really if the federal government shuts off funding for this project, kind of who's on the hook for this. But I want to just clarify, the MSBA is a state agency. It doesn't rely on federal funding for these buildings. It's a dedicated funding source. It's a penny on the sales tax. 1 cent of every dollar spent from the sales. So every penny for every dollar of sales tax comes to the MSBA for school buildings. So it's a dedicated funding source, right? So it's a dedicated funding source. It's a Commonwealth of Massachusetts funding source. So I don't believe any kind of impact, the federal funding would impact the MSBA.